There we go. Recording in progress. All right, so now we got to start all over again. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so we're going to go into designs now. And let me bring up my screen. Even though it's Tuesday, it feels like Monday. Okay. Screen share. All right, you guys at this point should all be seeing my dashboard. Is that correct? Command?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. I'm writing solo today, so if you have any questions, I'll do my best to keep an eye on chat, but go ahead, feel free to throw something in there or interject a question as we're talking, but I'll do my best to kind of get through everything, and obviously at the end we always go open mic. So today I'm going to show you designs, and one thing I want to show you is on the home screen, right? So we know on the right, when you log into Command, you're going to come to your home screen. One of these widgets, if you've set up your screen accordingly, is a design update widget. So KW's marketing department, in conjunction with WeBrand, who is actually a third-party purveyor and partner in this, updates new designs quite regularly. So if there are events or holidays in any particular month, you'll see new design releases right here on your home screen. If you're not seeing them on your home screen, you can customize your home. Click on the design updates icon here, which will populate it here on the right-hand side. And then you can move these around, okay, in any order that you want to see them on your home screen, right? Because that's why everybody's home screen is a little bit different. I like to have product updates at the top versus designs, but I like to show you how easy it is to kind of move everything in any particular order. Okay. Two, the second thing that you really need to help make designs incredibly successful for you, we touched on a couple of times last week, is your profile, right? This first profile is what? Who remembers what this first profile button is? Anybody?
Marketing profile?
It is a marketing profile, but it's your agent-to-agent marketing profile, right? Remember, you got to have two profiles on here. You're going to have an agent-to-agent because you're in the referral business, right? And you're going to have an agent-to-consumer for marketing. So the consumer profile is underneath settings. Then come onto the left-hand side, go underneath connect settings, and you'll see marketing profile. Now, I wish it was surfaced a little bit higher, but this is where it lives right now. That's okay. It's just matters of knowing where to click. Marketing profile. And you'll see here photo, logos, red asterisks mean what? Got to have it, right? So if it's asking for information, it's starred. This information you got to put in there. Bio, you see that's right there. So that is your consumer facing bio. Contact information, market centered brokerage information, right? Contact information, got to have that. Legal compliance, this is for everybody, no matter what market center you're in. Okay, you got to have this. It's a Virginia law. Each office independently owned and operated. It's going to be on your postcards, your flyers, your business cards, your website. It's a disclosure. You got to have that. So that's what goes in here. Legal footers you don't need, so don't worry about that. Social media links, whatever you're on, right? Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can post your links right in here so they will connect. Facebook, Pixel, and Google Analytics ID. Make this very simple for you. If you know what these are, then you'll put your information in here. If you don't know what these are, don't worry about it right now. Say second level, it's actually might even be third and fourth level analytics and tracking that takes place for advertising. We have that availability to us, but I don't want you to worry about it right now because it's not incredibly strong on the back end for retargeting purposes. This was something that gets more enhanced at a later date. Typically, just very small percentage of agents utilize these or their marketing people, but this is there for you to plug those in. All right. The very top, there's a green dot. I want you to make sure this green dot is turned on after you've completed your marketing page because it will push all of this information across to your design platform, your website, your social media app. So complete that and turn on this green toggle. That's kind of important. All right, so that's your marketing profile. Now let's jump back to the home page here, and I'm going to come down to designs. You'll see that on the left-hand side, designs. Now, as I mentioned earlier, designs is actually built with KW through a relationship with a company called WeBrand. So WeBrand is our third-party partner for our design element at this time, okay? So when you do go in here, you're going to land, oh, I jumped ahead too far, sorry, go back. When you come to this page, if you've built some things, you'll see these littered with designs. If you haven't built anything yet, then this screen's going to be blank, then that's okay. Across the top, you'll see email, social, print, and video. Now, instinctively, you might think that's where you go to create any one of these things. That's not how this works. This is if you had created any emails, social media flyers, print flyers, or video, that's where your versions would live. To start anew, go to this little plus button on the bottom right-hand side, okay? And when you click on that, it's going to ask you, what is your intention here? What are you building? What design? Are you going to do an email template? Are you going to do a social media post? Are you doing something that you're going to print, okay? Are you creating a video? Or are you going to import a PDF, okay? So we'll go into each of these a little bit so you understand what they look like. First, I'm going to explain import PDF. We talked about Canva in the beginning, or any other place where you have built something, okay, that you want to bring in your command to email or share or market. You can do that. So you can actually import a PDF here. And a really cool thing about this, if anybody's familiar with Adobe and the editing tools inside of Adobe, this works like that. So if I have a Canva design that I like and love, and I created, I can import that into Command. Then the editor inside will recognize fonts and pictures and logos and layouts and allow me to swap out and edit that design right inside of Designs. That's pretty cool, right? So you don't have to go back. Now, with that being said, if you had a flyer and you copied it off the copier, loaded it to your computer, it's a PDF per se, but it's not going to work, right? You need to be the original source, be the source of the source for that information. So there's two different ways. Not all PDFs are created equal. So just understand where that's coming from. If you're the originator and you have access to that and you load it from your desktop, works great. You copy something off your computer, off the glass, it's a Xerox copy, a photocopy, not going to work as well. So just understand the difference there. Second is video. And I do want to show you video because videos are pretty cool. Now, people assume when I say video that you're going to be like creating like a YouTube video. That's not quite what you're going to see here. This is a single video element, and I'm going to click on that and open that up. Go next. Now it's going to ask me to search for neighborhoods. And remember when we did smart plans last week, we work with a company called Nextdoor to provide neighborhood data information, okay? So if I type in a particular neighborhood, if I can spell, Sleepy Hollow, okay, we'll find the neighborhoods, and it's country driven. So you have to get, sometimes you have to drill down a little bit. There we go. There's a couple different Sleepy Hollows. I'm looking for Sleepy Hollow and Falls Church. There we go. So I'm just going to have, actually, I'm going to go something a little bit bigger. There you go, Lakes of Ashburn. So I'm going to go with Lakes of Ashburn. When I choose that and I hit next, okay, this happened to me the other day. When I did this, it wasn't pulling my data. The problem is some of the properties are selling so fast, the data information is not populating the way that we want it to. That's the problem with an incredibly hot market. However, it would typically bring in the activity in that neighborhood. So because it is plugged into the MLS, so it would show the average home price, average price per square foot, number of active homes for sale, but they're going and churning and burning so fast that it's missing some of the data elements. So you could add your own information here. If you ran reports from the MLS, you could go ahead and put that in here as well. So the cool thing is that when everything is up to snuff, it's giving us what we need. If we need to modify or edit, we simply can just put in the information that we pulled from our MLS. So trust and verify the data that you're syncing across. So we'll say that it's on the increase, right? Not on the decline. Everything's on the rise right now. Average days on market. And then it gives us these neighborhood features right here. The neighborhood features are provided by Nextdoor. They're kind of pulled into here, and you can edit those. So this neighborhood, which says that they're into activism, book loving, and yoga culture, you might know otherwise, and say, hey, you know what? They're hardworking, they're into book loving, and they're into athletic wear. I don't know where that would even come from, but these are third party coffee culture. You got to have 3 in here. You can't have 1, you can't have 2, you got to pick 3 from the list, and edit that. Your agent information will pull from your website automatically, should. Sometimes the phone number drops off. Your market center information will pull in here, and then next. Now you're done. This takes about 2 seconds, maybe 10, depending on the speed of the day. Okay, it's got to sync up and build a video for you. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Give that 1 second. All right. And that's it. Quick, easy, simple video. You can download it, right? It'll be on your desk, on your computer. You see, I've got a lot of different neighborhoods that I've created. These update monthly when the numbers are syncing and pulling up to date, and I'll take a look at that. But so you can post these on social media. You can download them. You can email them out. You can use them in campaigns. You can share to social media, all kinds of different things. Now, what you can't do, what you see is what you get. The music's the same, so that you're going to hear that tune bebopping around in your head for a while, right? The layout and the display, everything's customized or not customizable. It is what you see is what you get. So the only thing you can change are the dates of the information or the price per square footage and all that fill-in blocks. Everything else is the same for you guys. So nice little thing to share, get that out into your neighborhoods, your farm areas and things like that, or to specific people or groups of people into a farm. Any questions on the video element?
I just had one question. On the screen where it showed days on market, maybe I'm just not familiar with the term, but instead of having a number, it said like NAN.
NAN.
Capital N, lowercase a, capital N. So I didn't know if that stood for something or if it was just like something we're supposed to type in when we're creating the video. Or
the days on market, I just put in the days on market. I'm sorry, I don't remember saying NAN. I'm not saying it's up there. So
you had 0 in when you did it. There was no number in it entered in. So I think it was just null.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just I didn't have any. So just you could just update that. You could say, increasing. You just put the dates in there. So if it was whatever that days on market, what the consumption rate is for, and that's the information I would pull from the MLS. As I said, typically this would all populate in here, but I think that things are moving so fast it can't keep up with itself. But I'm going to take a look on the back end and check in with support and see why this isn't all pulling in. But some agents like to put their own information in because they know better than some of the tech stuff that's pulling in is not as accurate. So you get people that argue both says, hey, I just want the simple and easy and filled in. The others want to put in their own data. So you do have the ability to do both.
Okay, thanks.
Not a problem. All right, so let's go back into Plus here. Now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to go into Print next. So the reason that it filters out differently because there are 2,000 different designs in here. So it knows on the home screen what designs to pull up for you based off of what I'm telling it I want to do. So if I say, hey, I'm going to do something I'm going to print out, it's going to give you formatted templates that are based around print. If I say, hey, I'm going to do a social media post, Then it's going to format and show you posts that are available for either storyboards or wide or square for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, what have you, right? If I'm going to do email, then they'll bring up email formatted designs that would be built to go out in an email, right? So that's what we're looking at here. We'll do print first. Now, also it asked me, do I want to import photos and text from a listing? At this point, I'm not going to do that, but if you did, you could pull your listing information in automatically into the design element, which is great. So if I was selling 123 Main Street, I would sync that. It would pull in all the pictures. Now, I'm going to show you how to do that once we're in it, because if you forget to do it, it's okay. You can add them later. But so it asks you up front, or you can do it within the design itself. So let's go ahead and let's go next. We're jumping into print first. You're going to see it's going to leave KW's command and it's going to go to WeBrand. Okay. Now across the top, you're going to see templates, designs, and assets. I'm going to talk to assets first. Okay. So assets are your components. Remember that one of the big things of being with KW is that you've got your own brand, right? We allow you to market and brand yourself accordingly. That might be color schemes, that might be logos, it may be all kinds of different things. You have to blend it with KW stuff, right? There's our walls and brokers information that you have to do, but you don't have to just use your corporate logo as your brand. You get to use your own. So under this color and font, you can build your own color template, right? See, there's a palette. This is just colors that I like. And if you hit the plus button on any one of these, you can go in and you can choose from the display, right? Filter across, or you can put in the RGB color codes if you have those, or the HSL, or the hex numbers. So for those of you that are into design elements, again, you understand there's different elements, and that's specific color matching, right? That's what that allows you to do. If you're not familiar with that, then you can literally just go in here and pick something. Hey, that looks really cool. So there's a color that I'm going to use, right? And you could have a couple of different color palettes. Maybe you have a luxury color palette. Maybe you've got your standard color palette. Maybe, different elements. Maybe you've got a different time of year color palette. I don't know. I don't judge. You have that ability to create those for you that are quickly accessible. When we go into the designs, you'll see those available to you when you're doing color matching. Below that, you've got fonts, right? Maybe there's a specific font that you like to use, okay, for your business. You can download fonts off the internet. You'll see that there are specific fonts right here available to you inside of the system. Okay. I didn't pick any particular, but if you say, hey, this is what I like to use on a regular basis, then that's what they're going to look like. And they are quickly available, accessible to you as you're building out your different designs. Or you can upload your own if you had downloaded something off of line. Logos. What you'll see is that when you build out your marketing profile, some logos will automatically come over. So you put in your business logo, if you put in your Market Center logo, those will be available to you. And then you will have the ability to upload additional logos. Okay, so I'm going to show you something. If you go to KW Connect, okay, there are KW logos and Market Center logos available to you. Inside of Connect, there is resources, and underneath resources is marketing. Logos and branding. Two things I'm going to show you. One is a style guide. Okay. If you're a rule follower, Vicky, I'm looking at you, you're going to read this thing. Okay. If you're not a rule follower and you don't care, you're not going to read the thing. But I do recommend that you all read this, because by joining KW and being a realtor, there are some things that you just inherently agreed to do things the right way. So the style guide walks you through the right way, the okay way of how you can utilize the KW's likeness and brand and logos inside of your personal branding along with your market center. So that varies state by state and region by region, but there's a KW system of doing things. So I recommend that you do download that and take a look at that. Below that are market center logos. Almost every market center has their own set of logos. I'm just going to type in United here because that's the group that I'm familiar or affiliated with. And then you can download that. Now, when you download your package, what you're going to get are a series of a bunch of different logos. Who knows what the difference between a JPEG or a PNG is? Anybody?
The PNG has the clear background where you can blend it in.
You're 100% correct. PNG. See, this is a PNG right here. See how it's got the checker box background? That means that this logo is an overlay. I'll put this on an image and the image will shine through. This one over here, Parks Architecture, has got a white box around it. That's a JPEG. So that means there's no bleed through, right? So that logo and that box is what's going to be prevalent. So that's the difference between a JPEG and a PNG. Okay, it's transparency versus a box. Now, in those KW ones you just downloaded, you're going to see a bunch of different versions. There'll be an all-white version. There'll be a red, gray, and white version. There'll be a red, black, and version. So kind of like you see these different colored layouts here. They're available for you to use around your market center. So you're probably going to upload multiple versions of those, not just any particular one, because you might find that you lean one way or the other, depending on what you're doing. I know people that just love the white, clean look of just have a white logo. That's okay. So that's what's going to happen for you in here. Next is smart text. Smart text is the text that you use regularly. Your name, your phone number, your email address, right? Your address, your business, your market center, your branding. You can build new fields here. Right? You'll see I've got my phone number, my email. Some of that pulls through from your marketing profile. Okay? Some of it doesn't. Like maybe you have a slogan in your business. Okay. Maybe you didn't put your business address in your logo, although that's a required field, so that would be there. Right? Maybe you have a different email. Maybe you've got multiple websites for your business. That's just a matter of adding additional fields right here and having this quick text available to you when you build out designs. Well, that are images. Inside of images, you'll see that I kind of loaded a couple of examples. I've got my headshot here. I've got a QR code that I use for which are quick snap links to go to my website. And I've got the Realtor Equal Housing and Realtor logo available to me. Now, they're also in the system, but I loaded them just because I had done it before they were in the system. So you can load any type of imagery that you use regularly throughout your business. Maybe there's some monuments for certain neighborhoods that you feature. Maybe there's a specific picture of you or your team, right? Or a house or an image that you use all the time in your marketing. You just go ahead and load that here. Boom, boom, boom. The last three, I don't use a whole lot of, but they're available to. There are elements, right? So you can upload different elements that you use, right, in your business. Stickers, objects, shapes, icons, things, people get very creative. You can load those into the system. If you have videos that are linked to other pages, typically like Loom or Venmo or YouTube that you need access to as you're going to start building out predominantly emails, you can build and link those too. Last thing, files, you can connect this to a Dropbox or Google Drive or a OneDrive to access other things that you created or those other PDFs that we talked about earlier that you may need to zap in and utilize through your marketing and branding. So that's all these elements that are inside of your brand assets long before you ever start designing anything. So is there any questions inside of what you have access to and what you could load into the platform? All right, moving on. Now you won't have anything in designs if you haven't created anything yet, right? So my designs are your designs, right? What have you created previously? Now, before I go into the KW designs, I do want you to know this. If you want to start something from scratch, a blank canvas, you just go to My Designs and start from blank. And you'll say, hey, I want to go with a custom size, or I want to do social wide or social square or social stories, right? You can tell it what you're looking to build, and it's going to format it properly, give you a square box that meets what you're trying to build out, and you can walk through and customize that a blank just like you would in Canva. All right. I don't use this a whole lot, but some people do, which is fine. Most people, and what you will find most of the time, is that you will utilize the templates, right? Most agents, solo agents, are limited on time. So the templates themselves are where you're going to get the most value, right? Because you're not having to think about what you want something to look like. KW and WeBrand's marketing department have built thousands of different examples for you. You can customize them, you can utilize them as they lie, and you can simply just swap in photographs and branding and logos and colors, which makes your life very, very easy. So if you remember at the beginning, I said we're going to do print. So what I'm looking at are all print option stuff, right? Postcards, flyers, right? And then on the left-hand side are different types of categories of things I might put out. So it defaults to the KW app. I may probably going to be advertising some listing, and you'll see that's blocked out, coming soon, for sale, just listed, just, different things. A listing presentation, which is where we're going to jump into here. Okay. There's buyer category, right? Same type of thing. Buyer presentations. Maybe I want to advertise mortgage. I'm going to, don't worry about mortgage yet. That'll come in. You may want to do a refi. It's a great way to stay in touch with your database, but you're going to predominantly talk about listings and buyers, right? But refi is a good way to stay in touch with your past database as a value add for them. You don't get paid to do refis, but having a refi arm, saying, hey, I know that you bought your house 3 years ago. Mitch, your interest rate was 4.25. Right now, KWRI, just because you know, is about 3.1%. So maybe a refi is in your future if you're not looking to buy, if you're not looking to sell right now. Right? So that's coming for contribution as a realtor. Lead generation, right? Client love, right? Event invitations, holiday greetings, right? And one of my favorites, the personally branded magazine. We'll jump in and take a look at that, right? So you actually have the ability to create a magazine. We roll this out once a quarter, and you can create that and print that and send that out to your database, which is really, really nice because it gives you great content, and you get to edit it around your neighborhoods or your branding in your business. I'm going to jump ahead. I don't have to worry about leadership. There's a luxury icon here. So if you're brand new to KW, you may or may not be a luxury agent. Don't take it the wrong way, but there are qualifications to being a luxury agent. We may all think, I'm luxury. And I get that. We all want to be, okay? But there's a qualification for luxury. It's an earn-in, okay? So basically what it means is that I, as an agent, to be a luxury agent inside of KW, I have to do 4 transactions over a 2-year period, okay, that my listing or my purchase puts me in the top 10% of the county, wherever property that is, right? County. So if I do a transaction in Loudoun County, the top 10% in Loudoun County would be above 890. Right? So if I did a unit or a sale over 890, that's 1 unit in luxury. If I turn around and I do something in Falls Church is actually 1.4 million. So if I did something above 1.4, then I would get a credit of a unit inside of Falls Church. And I can be in multiple counties. That's fine too. With that said, it does not go below 700,000. So if you do business where the sales don't go above 700, it means nothing is luxury qualified unless the region gives an approval for some other reason to do that. Okay. So 4 units makes you a luxury qualified agent. Now you're seeing here that we all have access to these luxury templates because you may not be a luxury agent yet. Okay. However, the property that you might be representing might qualify. So if you take a listing in Falls Church and the listing is going to be over 1.5, which is kind of the norm for Falls Church right now, the listing qualifies, even though you're not a luxury agent. So you could actually use these luxury branding marketing materials for your luxury property, right? Now, that being said, it is open and this is a trusting environment that we're in. If you just decide that, hey, I love this marketing material, I'm going to use it for everything because all of my properties, even the parking spot that I'm selling in DC, is luxury worthy. Yeah, you can't do that. Okay, so what happens is somebody's going to rat you out. Hey, Ted's using the luxury branded material to market his parking lot down in Newport News, right? So Ted's going to get called in from his team leader and say, hey, Ted, don't do that. That's just how, right? That's what we're trying to do. There's a specific market for luxury, so we treat it that way accordingly. There's a difference between a luxury agent, you get additional things, and a luxury property, which allows you to have access to this type of information. It's not a luxury class, but I just want you to know that that's there and you only use it if the property or you qualify, right? And if you're not sure what the price point is for your particular county or property that you're in, talk to your market center tech trainer, talk to your leadership. They'll be able to help you get clarification around, does your property warrant luxury marketing material, okay? And if you've been in the business for a while and you think you are a luxury agent, then also talk to your team leader because they can pull your transactional history, right? If you're new to KW, You can go to the MLS and pull your sales history and see that what counties you've done business in, qualify, and we can get you luxury approval. That's how that works. Or you just earn in over the next 2 years. Now, if you do 4 luxury units in the next 4 months, you can get you'll get approval to be a luxury agent. Same, the reverse happens. If after 2 years, after qualifying, you no longer qualify, you could potentially lose access to the marketing material. So that's luxury. Any questions around that? Okay, very good. Last thing at the bottom here are under collections, are new designs. So as I showed you on the home page, there are new designs, right? They populate, they show those to you, but also you can go to new designs under collection and say, hey, what's new? And what's really cool is this last one. There's a coloring book in here. Who knew that there was a coloring book inside of designs? Ted, did you know there was a coloring book in there? No. I love when my Market Center Tech Trainers learn something new. There's actually a coloring book. So think picture this. You're going on a listing appointment. Are kids sometimes there when you go on a listing appointment? Take a coloring book with you, right? You can download this coloring book and hand it to the kids and they can color it in. Just a nice little fun little thing to have at your disposal that you can take with you and engage those kids, because if the parents feel rushed, they're not going to accomplish what they want to do, right? So we need to occupy the kids. All right, so I'm going to come all the way up top here, and I'm going to go into, I said listen presentation, I go to buyer presentation, same thing. This is where you would go and build your material, okay? Whether it's a buyer presentation or listing presentation, doesn't really matter. They function the same way, okay? There are 5 different versions in here. The content essentially is the same. It's the look and the feel that's different. I don't use the all black one. I like it. It's something that I would download and use if I was just using for my tablet, but I wouldn't print because I'm going to use a whole lot of ink. So I don't use the black one as much. I use kind of like these clear white ones, crisp and clean. Personal choice, does not matter. I don't judge. Actually, I lie. I judge on people all the time. No, you guys aren't laughing at my jokes today. Oh, come on. All right. So on the left-hand side, you'll see all these pages that are available to you to build your presentation. You don't have to use them all. You can pick the ones that you want to use. Again, fully customizable, right? Good thing to know. The second page on the buyer presentation, on the listing presentation, is an instruction manual of telling you what to do, right? How to add, where to pull information, different things that are available to you, telling you to check all the boxes. This is not something, so you see at the top it says remove before use. It's not something you include in your presentation. Agents make mistakes all the time. Agents are never in a rush, are they, Ted? Right? Agents never just take information, grab and go, and don't pre-audit the information that they take or send out, do they, Ted? Yes, they do. I get those calls all the time. Hey, this went out and it wasn't right. Well, it was right because you didn't edit it properly. So please don't be in a rush. Please take your time. Please read, inspect what you expect, right? That you're sharing with your consumers, right? It's your business and your brand. You need to take that very seriously. Slow down, right? Ferris Bueller, right? Slow down and look around every once in a while. You've got to understand what's going on. Don't make an assumption, my father likes to say. We all know what happens there, right? Yeah, I don't curse on these, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? All right. So you'll read through this, you know what's there. So then you say, okay, I want the cover page. I want my client's page. I'm not going to load all these because functionally they're going to say, but I want you to walk through them. Okay. Time block yourself some time. You'll see that there's your home needs come first. So there's some what we call evergreen content, which is standard. Here's how you run your business. Everything that's in here, okay, is completely editable, which means it's open, right? It's not static. It's predefined content for you to use. But if you don't like how it's written, you can edit it. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Don't waste your time. We paid a lot of people a lot of money to create all this information for you, okay? Read through it, know what's there, right? Because here's a perfect example that you've got my app, and at the very bottom of this, right? Everybody see that? Very easily, you could send this out and not pick up on that it says XXX for your mobile app. Would that make you look bad? Say yes. Thank you. And then how they can take you seriously. So this is why I say, I may not change any of this information, but I would have missed this. So you got to be very conscious and go through every single page, okay? Because I can't tell you where everything is on every single page. But be conscious of what's going out so it represents you in the best light. So now you've selected your pages, okay? Zoom back out of here. All right, I can close this. And you see that there are 6 pages in my drawer, right? I'll see my drawer over here. Oh, they moved it. And this is what I love about Command. Sometimes I log in and it's completely different. Don't get confused. We make modifications all the time. The drawer used to be at the bottom. Now it's on the side. So you'll see that I have chosen 6 pages to be part of my listing presentation. They are all right here, okay? I go back to my first page. There's nothing there. So I'm going to delete that. Yes. The second page, remember that which was the first page I loaded, was basically my instructional manual, right? I'm clicking too quickly. There we go. I'll delete that. Now, first page is actually my cover page. What's going on? When I tend to stream and load and my network bogs down and slows down a little bit. So I would get that page, it would load up for me, and I'd be able to edit that page. And the cool thing, you'll see here as I hover over these, those boxes open up, right? You see everything's in a text box, and it's got different things. Now, depending on what I click on the left-hand side, gives me content that I've loaded that's available to me through the platform and through my assets to replace or add to the system. So right here is like a DBA logo. Well, again, DBA is not my logo, right? So what I can do is when I click on that box, my assets automatically changed over here to pull up my logos. And I see this little circle, 2 arrows going around. That means replace. Now, if I don't click on a box, right, and I go to my assets, it doesn't know what to load. But because I clicked on this DBA logo, it knows that I'm looking to swap out my logo. So it's intelligent enough to swap those out. And then, okay, didn't swap it out for me, but then I put it on the page and I just resize it. Now, first name, last name, that's you, right? You could just click on that box and start typing away. I like this little editing tool at the top called the typewriter. On the right-hand side, it pops up, shows me exactly what's in that box. Okay, save changes. I wear glasses, and it's very hard for me to see some things sometimes. So the typewriter is my friend. Okay, you'll see that changed and edited this way accordingly. When I click on these, different things happen, right? So this is where you're going to want to go in here and spend some time playing with different designs to know what's there. I'm going to go back to agents not allowing themselves enough time. You may have an open house today, and it's at 1 o'clock, and you haven't created your flyers yet or any of this information, and you're rushing through, you're going to have a hard time. So I'm recommending highly that you go in and play with these tools before you ever have to need these tools. Does that make sense? All right. So different logos I could add here, different color fonts. When I click on these things, I could change this color. Well, look what shows up here. I've got my library colors. Remember, we built those in the beginning, right? I could change the color scheme based off of my predefined colors. Okay. I don't have a picture to use here on this page, but that would, so different boxes, different layouts. Let me go back to templates. Let me add another page here. Let's go back to this home. All right, got that now. There's a picture here. Well, be conscious of the default pictures that are there because they might not reflect the business that you are. It might not reflect your neighborhood, might not reflect your client. You can build a template and take it 80% of the way there and use it for most of the stuff. And then you could customize it the rest of the way, right? Maybe you have a craftsman versus modern and the pictures don't reflect it accordingly. So I click on one of these pictures here. What happened was on the left, I get additional interior pictures that I might want to use. So maybe I say, you know what? That is not what I want. I want a kitchen shot. Swap that out, right? You can quickly just replace, or you could use imagery that you had from your desktop or your previous listings that you liked, right? These are free pictures to use that KW is providing, but you can certainly use your own should you choose to do so, right? I click on this picture down here, right? Then you'll see that I would want to swap that out with my picture, right? Contact information, swipe out and replace. Client name, swap out and replace. Pretty cool, right? Nice and easy. First name. No, I actually kind of like this. I'm going to change my name here. I'm going to go to David. Now my name's going to show up in black and bold just like it was, but check this out. If I go and say, I don't want to use black as my color, I go to my color. Now I previously showed you I had my color choices here. I also have this little teardrop, okay, which is a quick little set. But what if I said, hey, you know what? I want to pull a color to use for my font out of the picture. So I click on this little teardrop, click on that. Then I go ahead and say, I want to use the yellow from this fireplace, or maybe I want to use the blue, right, from this footstool. I click on that, and you'll see that my name color changed to match where I pulled out of the picture. Watch that again. So teardrop, say this time I want to use the fireplace, boom, yellow. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? I mean, nice, simple, crisp, simple nuance and elegance that you can tie together that just really takes your branding and your marketing to another level. So I'm going to jump out of here because I'm going to make this all about listing presentations, but I just want to show you that the tools are there for you. Listing presentation, buyer presentation, they're under print. You should build some generic custom ones. Take your time, walk through those, download those, have those printed off and ready to go should you need one, okay? You would save it, right? Name it. You might call that buyer template, right? For you. And you would download it to your desktop, okay? And that'll load. Remember, and I'm just going to come all the way out now. Done. I hit done, it brings me back to my homepage inside of designs. Then what I would actually see is the most recent design element that I was working on will show up here in the upper left-hand side. Okay. Once it all downloads, it's not synced up yet. Or if I go to print, we'll see all the designs that I created on the print. As you can see, the one I just created here is available to me. Now, if this is one that I use, it's finished, it's ready to go, I could print and go. If I wanted to customize it further, I can go in here, I can make a copy of it. It's my template now. And then I can edit it for the specific client that I was going to meet. Maybe then I go in and make this more specific to meet Ted Townsley's needs, right? Whether it's a listing or a buyer, and make it more specific and more about him. So now I've got my master template, which represents me for the 80%. And then I had time to go meet with this client and customize my designs a little bit further, make a copy, go in there, edit it, make it specific for a meeting with Ted, right? And then print and go. Great, simple elements inside of the platform. Now, I'm going to create a social one for you now. Hit plus, social, next. And the reason I start with listing and buyer presentations is the most dynamic and the most encompassing. So if you can do those and know how to add text, add images, swap images, change color schemes, you can do any of the other templates that are in here just as easily, right? So if we go in here and we say, all right, now I chose social, right? So now I've got coming soon. So maybe I have a property that's coming soon. So we'll see different options across the top, right? Social stories, right? Instagram or Facebook uses stories. So it's a format type, right? Or social square. Social Square is probably the most generic. If you're going to go on all platforms, Square is your safest bet, right? And then you've also got Social Wide, which is more of like that banner look. If I say I'm going to do a Social Square, and I like this coming soon, we'll use this one. I'll use this one better. Use. It's going to load up a design for me that I chose. We'll see that here. Now, I know that it's coming soon that this picture is not from my property. Okay, so what I can do here, remember in the beginning, and I said, hey, if you knew the property address and what you're doing, you could pull that property in, right? But I didn't do that. I said, hey, I'll show you later that you can pull it in from within designs. Well, that's what this is. Under KWLS, think of that as your MLS. I can go in and I can search for a particular property. Does anybody, Ted, do you have an active listing right now?
I don't. I have one that just closed though. That.
All right, give me the address.
Let me look it up real quick.
MLS or at MLS.
Yeah. The address is 1308 Millington Court.
Like that?
Yep.
Millington Court.
Should be Virginia Beach. Yep. Top one.
So you see, now what you're seeing here, remember it's an MLS, it's a national MLS. So Ted's listing was in Virginia Beach, but I got Millington Court in Louisville. So be conscious, right? It looked like there was another one on that street too, 1300 Millington Court, that you choose the right property. And remember, you're not just going to see your listings, right? Because if I represent the buyer, I might do a sold, but it was Ted's listing. So I have access to all that information. Or it's Vicky's listing, but I'm doing an open house. I can pull her listing information in and build my open house flyer with her photos. So don't be conscious to the point that you're only going to see your stuff. You see everything that's in the MLS as long as it's active, because our coming soon stuff doesn't syndicate. So if I actually was building a coming soon, in this case, I would probably have to upload a picture because the coming soons by MLS laws don't syndicate across to everything. So that's the little difference here, that coming soon's information at this point won't be here and you would have to load a picture. All right, so now I go ahead and select this property. So this is what I'm working with. Look how quickly all those pictures showed up from the MLS. Now let me just click on the picture here. See, I got my blue square around this kitchen. I'm just like, okay, let's look at the kitchen, which is here. Swap that out. Boom, I've got my kitchen photo. All right, now, maybe this isn't coming soon. Maybe it's actually an open house. All right, so let me go in here, go to my typewriter, change that from coming soon to open house. Boom, done. Right here is the address. So I can say, hey, you know what? I need the address. I'm on pictures here, so I would change from photos to listing details. And here is the address. Swipe that out. Just format it because I don't want it to wrap. Okay, so I've got picture, beds, bath, and context. Now this is where it gets a little bit different, where I don't like to swap out, because even though all that information is here, they're one at a time. So here I would actually just go into the typewriter and change to what it actually was, right? If that information was not accurate. So it was built in 1985, right? It was not 2,200 square feet. It is actually 1,357. And you notice I'm just looking on the left-hand side, it's still swapping it in, but it was still 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, okay? And the price point on that was $275. Save. Change out my logo. Notice when I click on my logo, it automatically prompted me to change that. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. That's all right. We all make mistakes. Shrink and fit. Boom. Look at that. And what if I wanted to, hey, you know what? I want my likeness on there. So instead of swapping out, right, I could just hit this plus button. I don't want to do that. Oh, I'm missing a frame here. Pretty cool, right? And notice how I took my background away and just kind of put my body in to fit that frame. So you can put your likeness, your contact information. You can add text boxes, right? Different elements. Save this, open house, right? Download it, go to print, post it to social media, however you want to go ahead and do that from there. All right, I ran a little long today. Sorry about that. We're gonna go a couple minutes long. Done. Save. All right, so we covered print, we covered social, email. Email is a little different. I'm going to go ahead and go into email. And what you're going to see in here under email, there are 72 different email templates. Now, the emails themselves actually plug into Smart Plans. If you remember, we touched on that last week. When you click a Smart Plan and go into designs, this opens up. Or you could go to here first, right, and say, hey, you know what? You're going to have to go into these different elements and kind of take a look at them and say, hey, I wanted to put something about, hey, a low budget project around your house. Open that up, rename it. And you see it's got a lot of default content in here. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. It's telling you, here's a low budget project you can do around your house. It's going to add value. Walkways, fire pits, and a bocce court. I don't necessarily think I'm going to need a bocce court, but hey, you know, I might change that to if I wanted to, a basketball court, right? Or a shooting deck for my hockey. Little things that you can do around your property. You can run with what they've provided. Know your audience, right? Is your audience going to understand what a bocce court is? I don't know if that's going to carry over to certain neighborhoods, right? Ted, are you talking to me or are you yelling at somebody? Looks like he's talking to somebody. Okay. So again, be conscious of what's going on in here. You can click and you can edit. You said that it showed up on the right-hand side. I can go back to this picture here. I can edit the picture. I can swap that out if I didn't like the picture about what was provided, right? Once I'm making this change, I've done. These are called widgets, text boxes, images, buttons. You can add additional information. Like maybe I wanted to add a video, okay? Where did it drop? It didn't drop. Oh, here it is. My formatting is off. There we go. Drug in that video box. Now maybe I had a video because I did a video about the neighborhood. So the video itself, you don't record in here. You would basically have to have that. If I click on edit, little pencil here, edit. I would post in my YouTube or my Venmo or wherever the video is sitting, post that link in here. I would upload a thumbnail image, right? And I could say, hey, click here. Click here to learn more about this home, or click here and learn more about the neighborhood. Click here to learn whatever. Of course, obviously, I'm going to spell things properly. And then you would upload that. And then you can look at the eyeball, see what it's going to look like as it was going out. You'll see that when you do that, your information will pull in here. Okay, it's a preview, so none of this is engaging. I can't click on anything, but it's a preview. Okay, I can change, hey, that's what it looks like on desktop. This is what it looks like on tablet. This is what it would look like if they were looking at it on their phone. Oh, cancel. And then under options, you also have the ability to send yourself a test email. You can email to yourself first before you send it out to your database so you can actually see what it looks like, how it came across. Are you happy with it? Which I do recommend. Trust but verify, see what this is looking like, understand the engagement before you send it out to your database. That all works, you're good to go. Save or save and exit, and then go out and send it. Tomorrow we're going to jump into campaign, so I'll talk about emailing this type of stuff out. But today was really all about understanding all of the design elements inside of Command. So you can go ahead and play around with that. So look at that, I caught up really quickly. It's 11 o'clock. We can go open mic. We covered print, social, video, import, and email, and how to swap out and build all those things. So with that, what do you guys think? Getting a
All
couple
good
of,
information. Yeah, very helpful. Thank you.
I do my best. It's a lot to cover in 1 hour. I get that. So that's why I do recommend, right? Go back. Your best training tool is just throwing yourself in there. You can't break anything. Just go ahead and play with it. I'm not a graphic. I'm graphically challenged. Okay. I am not creative in that way. I like the way things look and I can do certain things in here. It's not my skill set. I can talk to it, but I know enough to know that I can go in there and play around with it and get it the way that I want it because it's so simple to use. Right. But I also know that the first time you play with this, it's going to take you a little bit longer because you're not going to remember everything I just showed you. Right. You may or may not be familiar with editing tools. If you've used Canva, and I talked about there, then you're going to have some conscious knowledge of like, hey, this should do this, that, or the other thing. Shapes, images, overlays, text boxes, forwards, backwards, right? Color fonts, changes, schemes. That just comes through repetition. So give yourself the time. Play with it first. Go create an open house flyer. Go create a listing presentation. Go create a buyer presentation. I didn't even show you magazines, which was under print, but they work just like listing and buyer presentations. And then when you've done those things, and if you're still struggling, who's the one person in your market center that can help you? Your market center tech trainer. And you can always follow up with them. You can do anything you want through this platform once you take yourself the time to play around with it. And you don't need to be a graphic designer to use these tools. That's the one thing I want to kind of get across to everybody, is that this is really built for the majority of people to use it and not the small minority of people to use it and have that specific skill set. That's how far we've come on a lot of these tools. Like I've been using tech for a long time. At one point in time, I thought I wanted to be a web designer and I was going to go to take Dreamweaver and all these different classes and graphic elements. And I realized that just wasn't me. But you don't need to be that person now because these widgets and these boxes and fill in the blanks make your life so much easier. So with that, thank you for coming today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about campaigns, which is like how do we use some of these things that we built? How do we post them to social media? How do we email them out to our database? And how do we get our consumers to see those? So that's that's going to be the next step to this is the campaigns class. So 11:05, you're all free to go unless somebody has a question on anything I did not cover. All right. Well, you all have a great day. Go sell something.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. See you guys. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, David.